Declan is the chairman of Chadwick's group in Ireland, who's the #1 builders, merchants and DIY retailer. For those of you who are not fully aware, there's 85 locations across Ireland, but particularly in terms of the 35 Woodies stores that there is throughout the country, who Declan has been leader of since 2013. He's going to explain to us how it is that that experience has helped build the role of the leader and how important leadership is to the success of the business, and how that leadership style and business success fit together.
How do you get people who are paid $10.30 an hour? How do you get them to feel like they're worth $1 million? And that's been the essence of what we've done in partnering up with Great Place to Work. That was something that we did quite early. So I brought in a HR director, and the first thing she said to me from IKEA of all places, she said, "Well, listen, we need to get into bed with Great Place to Work," which I'd worked with in Dixon's. I'd worked with you in Dixon's anyway. I thought, yeah, there's a time and a place to do that. And I remember the first time we did our first survey, and we'd introduced this concept to colleagues who'd been classically managed for years, so there was not a high level of trust in the organisation. And I remember there's a horticulturalist, God bless her, Claire, in Mullingar. She said, "The results won't be very good." And I said, "Claire, I know, and that's why we're doing it. Because there's 70 odd questions there, and we'll figure out what's what. And then we put action plans in place, and we leave it from there." So the very first year we did, 2014 was the first time we did a survey. I knew the results would be pretty grim, but the one thing I wanted more than anything else was I wanted a high level of participation. So I think the low level, like your sub 70 participation, just gives that excuse for, well, we didn't get the highly engaged people, they were too busy, or maybe if your results are surprisingly good, maybe there's a lot of disengaged people out there that you didn't get. So I went on an evangelical tear around the fact that, guys, whatever, I don't care if you hate this place. Will you, for God's sake, just tell us how you feel? And at least we can do something about it at that time. And in general, that was a positive story around, God, would you just please tell us? We did the usual stuff of encouraging our store manager to say, "Guys, we really do want give people time, give them space, give them a room. I don't care if it takes them an hour to fill out this survey. For God's sake, let's get it done." And there might have been a bit of arm twisting along the way. Let's not be naive about the whole thing either. But we ended up with about a 97% participation rate. So the very, very first port of call for me was, let us understand in an absolutely anonymous way, and we spent so much effort telling people that, first thing, when you have a low trust organisation, the first time you give people a pin to do an anonymous survey, they think you're going to be examining in detail all that. You have to get over all of that. And we ended up with 39% of people saying we're a great place to work, which I was quite surprised by. Not in a negative way. I didn't think it would be that high. And we've obviously gone from 35 to 84 in whatever it is, a 5-year period at this stage. So we started off with the benchmark to kind of go, right, what do we need to do? And I don't know if we're the same at that stage as any classic Theory X retail organisation, but really there was no culture of recognition. There was no telling anybody anything. Messages that would cascade through the organisation got as far as the store manager, never went any further. People, the classic management style of going around and finding out all the wrong stuff that you're doing. I mean, I've got a boss like everyone, and if he rings me up and says, "Declan, you missed your target yesterday by X, Y, or Z, or this month you missed your profit by, what did you do wrong?" You're kind of, you're on the defensive, and you're feeling a bit. I've always had a theory: any interaction that you have in a leadership position with anyone, you need to make that person feel better about themselves at the end of that interaction. And if you have a guiding principle like that, and that guiding principle, if it's within your organisation, you've sort of got half a chance of making people feel good. Spend about 600,000 odd a year on HR initiatives, and we turn over 250 odd million. We made about 22 million last. I'm not sure what we'll make this year. So the classic thing came out of that: we don't have a recognition culture. We have poor communication. And we have just classic ways of just making people feel small. We had very little training and development. And career path, what's that? I get on because somebody taps me on the shoulder because I'm a favourite, and all that stuff that you kind of go, how in God's name did we ever get to that? So the very, very first thing we did was we launched a leadership development program, called it Accelerate. The first 6 people to participate in that program were me and my team. I love hearing this sort of thing, where CEOs think, I don't need any training because I'm a CEO. I mean, just how daft is that? So you start with yourself, and you start with your team, and that program then cascaded through the organization. That got into insights. We've all done our insights, we've all done our coaching, we've all done our above the line and below the line. We need to live above the line. We can choose how we think. And again, nothing remarkable about this. But Accelerate is now part of some very, very talented people recently on the digital side of our business, and bang, into Accelerate. Because that is the cultural identity that we have. What I've recently been going around and saying to people in our business, again, you'll have these conversations with colleagues on the ground, and you'll say, I don't think we've anyone with any notions about themselves left, have we? And they'll go, no, I don't think so. And I'll say, yes, because if you've got notions about you, it's not the place for you.
Well, first of all, thank you very much, Declan, for your time, your attention, and your well thought out responses on our webinar today. I'm sure lots of people will have really enjoyed hearing you speak and be able to carry some of those learnings into their workplaces. So thank you very much. The Great Place to Work team are very proud of the Trust Insight series, which we are engaged in at the moment, and we're looking forward to future installments, and we're looking forward to you joining us on those as part of this continuous improvement program. Please get in contact with us on the email that you see on the screen at the moment, and we look forward to picking up that conversation in relation to your individual organization. So please click through on this link, which will take you through to other resources that we have available. And thank you again.